Yep. You know what that sound means? It means we have an unboxing and the mailman's here. This is going to be, yeah, let them go. It's going to be a two-part unboxing because this item needs this item to be complete. Oh my God. Like, I'm going to sound like a valley girl right now. Like, oh my God. Like, holy shit. Like, I really screwed up. Like, that's so annoying. Oh God, I screwed up. So on the right, this rouge pot with the, who is that? I think that's Marie Antoinette on eBay. And someone had to buy it now. It was really reasonable. And I was like, but a rouge pot or like a lady's Victorian or Edwardian, like little powder box definitely needs a powder puff. And I screwed up. So back in the olden days, as early as like 1800, they used to use something called swan's down, which it's sort of sad. They would take baby swans and they would actually use them for their like soft downy feathers on their chest for ladies' powder puffs. Ladies really weren't supposed to be using any kind of cosmetics in the Victorian era or earlier. Not until about the very early 20th century, sometime in the late teens to the 20s, that's when cosmetic use really got started, where it wasn't shameful to be wearing powder or face makeup. So how I fudged up was, now generally these would come with a swan's down puff inside of them. 90% of them that you find are gone. The swan's down puffs are gone. And the swan's down puffs are highly expensive for replacements. Well, antique ones, because they don't really make them anymore. It's very rare that they make them. So I searched high and dry to find an affordable swan's down antique ladies powder puff. And I found this one. Now, generally, they sell in the $100 to $175 price range for a freaking antique swan's down powder puff like you see here on the left. And so somebody had just listed this one on the left. This is an antique one with a celluloid handle. It could be bone. I have to investigate it. And for $22, free shipping. I said to my husband, quick! And I checked the dimensions and it said 3 inches. And I thought that it would fit inside here. Yeah, I can explain to you right now, well, admit to you humbly that I'm not a very good mathematician and not very good at measurements. Oh, God, feathers just flew up in my nose. I have a feeling this one was never used because I don't see any traces of powder on it. Really clean. Look at that. Yes, celluloid handle. Now, celluloid, of course, is an early form of plastic. It was invented sometime in the mid to late 1800s and didn't become really popular. I mean, they used it. They actually made it as a replacement for ivory because all the elephants were going extinct. All the animals with ivory tusks were going extinct. And but they were still using ivory tusks, of course. But they tried to come up with a cheap, effective replacement for ivory tusks, which was celluloid, which is highly combustible, I might add. So combustible that in the early 20th century, when this became very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Really prolifically made and sold and purchased by the public, they would make billiard balls out of them. Kaboom! Like if celluloid gets warm enough, or if the sun beats down on celluloid, or it's rubbed hard enough where too much warmth, or if this is near a flame, I can assure you this will explode in my hand. I've even read one story where a man bought a celluloid comb. I read it, I think it was like 1918, and he combed his hair with the celluloid comb, which must have warmed up by being on his counter where the sun beat down on it through the glass, and he caught on fire and died. So that is why, boys and girls, celluloid, especially celluloid plugs for lamps, in the early 20s and 30s, the celluloid plugs for lamps, and the celluloid switch plates and electrical outlets and so on and so forth combusted in lots of houses, burnt down. The insane part is this highly combustible early plastic was still utilized up until like around World War II because they had a shortage. They needed it for the fight. You know, they needed plastics and stuff. And so celluloid was still in use because it was very inexpensive and easy to mass produce. From around 1938, the DuPont company, a chemical company, made something called lucite, which was another form of plastic. And as you know, if you're in the collecting world, lucite handled or lucite purses with the lucite handles are really, really highly sought after. Lucite, another form of plastic, but this is the older one. This is probably made from sometime in the 1890s to about the 1920s, I'm guessing. The powder puff on the left. Now, the Rouge Pot on the right is really amazing. Let's get a view of it. And we see here a hand painting on porcelain of Marie Antoinette, a wife of, I think, was it Napoleon? No. Wasn't she beheaded? No. Josephine was Napoleon's wife. I think this one is the one that said, "Let them eat cake" or something. The peasants beheaded her. And so here we go. I think she was married to St. Louis, one of the Lewises or something. All right. I'm not very good at, you could tell I'm not very good at history. So let us gander at this amazing marvel of probably the late Victorian era, early 20th century, 1900, 1905, 1890, somewhere around there. Look at this. That's crystal. This is crystal glass. And let us try to show you this beautiful crystal. Really heavy piece. Leaded crystal. And wow, very beautiful. Let's flip it to the bottom. Yep, you can see it is definitely crystal. It is not molded or pressed glass. Inside, we have a mirror. And usually this is a telltale sign that it's very old when you have this silvering of said mirror. So, yeah, I'm not going to show you. You think I'm that much of a sucker? I'm going to show you myself in the mirror? Oh, hell no. Okay, so from looking at this, we know this is a very old mirror. But sadly, the powder puff over here is not going to fit inside of it. Well, damn it. All right, but it's really cute. Together, posed together like this, gots to admit, right? Okay, the ultimate ladies setup over here. Let's look at some other ones that you can find on the market. Well, they're not easy to come by, and they sell for quite a bit more than what I paid for the one on the right, because the person that had it didn't know what it was. But rouge pots, what would have went in it? Probably some kind of rouge or some kind of face powder would have went inside of it. And again, it was frowned upon in the Victorian era to wear face powder, but women got around it by actually buying medicated blemish powder, which came tinted. And that's how the manufacturers of powder got away with, selling women cosmetics, where they would tell their, husband and loved ones, well, I'm applying face powder because I have a blemish, but it was tinted. This is an amazing, amazing find on my behalf because I only paid like $20 for the Rouge Pot on the right, which is in pristine condition for its age, although the trim going around it, that's brass, it shows patina, which is great. It's going to show the age. So I don't really mind that it's not nice and shine, or it's not shiny like a new penny. And then the powder puff on the left, look at the condition that this is in. Look at the textiles. I love looking at old textiles. That is really, really quite good. The coloring has not faded. Now, generally on these old textiles, you'll see fading of the dyes. And this is just quite beautiful. Let me place it down and we'll zoom in closer without my hand shaking. And there we go. Beautiful swan's down. And I'm just going to move this over just a hair. But look at the textile, how beautiful. Like it was just made yesterday. Now, I've seen a bunch of these being sold in the $100 to $175 price range. And these are almost always faded. So $22 free shipping was quite a score for me. All right, so let's look at some more of these rouge pots. Now, by the way, these were also known as beauty pots, which would have held beauty marks. And I forgot what they called those. Oh, I think they called them patch boxes. Yes, patch boxes. They would actually have stick-on moles. In the Victorian era and earlier, that was really all the rage, was to add a mole almost like Marilyn Monroe and stick it to your face, which is absolutely insane. Now, for the use of the piece on the right, I'm not 100% sure. Now, it could have been used as a beauty mark or a patch box, could have been used as a rouge pot for rouge for your cheeks, or it could have been used as a pill box or a face powder box, but I sort of like the fact that I got the Swan's Down powder puff on the left. There's some people that actually just collect nothing but the Swan's Down antique powder puffs. So getting it at $22 was a great score to add to my collection. All right, let's look at others that you will find out there. Before we do that, I found this really interesting website about portable powder boxes. So having made my excuse in advance, let's talk about the first vanity boxes that appeared before the year 1900. And you can actually see vanity items here, and this is a very old picture. Sometimes it's really good. You look at old paintings from the 1800s, and you can see the accessories that somebody would have had, and it can help you date your stuff. This is an 1896 painting, and it says the vanity box, as we know it today, was still at least a decade away. Interesting. And so let's continue to look. And here's a vanity case attached to a chatelaine, all different necessities for a woman. And let's continue to go ahead and look at all the different necessities that a woman would have. And here we go. Here's a silver puff box. And it was part of a chatelaine, which it's the thing I showed you above that hangs from chains from the late 19th century. This one is silver, really quite beautiful. And again, it was pretty rare for you to see receptacles that would have held powder in them before that particular time, because women weren't supposed to have them. They weren't supposed to carry around powder boxes because it would infer that they're using face makeup. Now this one is actually embedded inside this fan that we see here. So women would hide them in articles of toiletries or everyday objects that they would use to hide them from people knowing that they were using the stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. And here's a patent for an 1882 powder puff with a handle on top. Here goes the dogs. Sorry about that. Oop. Someone's at my front door. My Ring doorbell is telling me in the middle of my video. And I'll be back. All right, so here we go. We have this 1882 powder puff, and it says on the eve of Independence Day in 1882, a previously unheard of event took place at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Someone filed an application for a patent on a powder puff! Almost as unusual as the fact that the person was a woman. And, I did not know that. All right, so 1882. Now, I've seen paintings with powder puffs in them. Here's another one. They had a bag with holes in the bottom that you pour your powder in it, and it has a drawstring, and then you powder yourself with the bottom of the bag. That's quite interesting also. But in paintings, here's another powder puff. This one is dated 1895, a powder puff receptacle that was actually hiding the fact that it was a powder receptacle because it looks like a pocket watch case. Aha! So women were actually doing tomfoolery, if you know what I mean. All right, so let's take a look at some other things. Here's another powder puff, shaped like a walnut, actually to hide the fact that it's a powder puff. And here we go. Look at this. And a purse. I have loads of these in my collection. These are called like dance purses or compact purses. And these didn't really take off until about the early teens. But they were around from before that too, in the late Victorian era. But they really didn't take off until like the 20s and 30s and 40s and so on and so forth. Let's continue to go. This one, yep, it's the early years of the 20th century. And so here's another powder puff. 92. Look at what we got here. Toilet powder box. 1892. All right, so we know these things were around. Very interesting to help us date our piece. Very interestingly, we see this lady that has like that Marie Antoinette style hairdo. And what's on her vanity? I spy with my little eye. Aha, swan's down on a stick. And they used to powder their hair to make it look white. So they used swan's down. And here we go. Here's the painting with the silk powder puff with swan's down. And look, in an old catalog, you can get a swan's down puff right here. This is an 18th century catalog. There we go. Swan's down. Very interesting. Right there. Figure 39, I believe that says. And, ooh, look at this. This one has threads. And they even had powder puffs that had threads hanging from it. Really quite cool. So we're really getting into the powder puff thing. Oh, here's another old painting. There we go. Swan's down. We see a portrait box over there. And what year is that? By Francois Boucher. And famous painter. Did I pronounce his name right? Probably not. Let's scope out Etsy. And here's one that's similar to mine. And this person said the Jazz Age, 1930s. And again, $81.37 is highway robbery. I was really lucky to get mine at 22 doll hairs. All right, so here we have another one. This one is 3 inches. Mine is about 3 inches. And 115 doll hairs. As you can see, these are not cheap. Actually, let's go in the pictures. And this one was used as silk on the top with a little celluloid or bone handle. Quite lovely. Hey, AI overview. Artificial intelligence. Swan's down powder puffs, known for their soft and luxurious feel, became a staple for applying face powder during the Victorian period and earlier, with evidence suggesting their use as early as the mid 18th century. Evolution, they evoluted. By the mid 18th century, less expensive alternatives made from wool, yarn, or even cat hair became available through none rivaled the opulence of swan's down. Now, in 1926, they had a powder puff that was in like a lipstick. Picture like a lipstick container, and you twist it, and you take the lid off and twist it, and the lipstick comes out. Well, they had a hoop. I can't pronounce that. Houpier, pli. I'm trying to be fancy French. I'm not. And they came out a lipstick, like a lipstick type of applicator that you twist open. You take the lid off, and Swan's down, and Sephora. No, they don't make that anymore. And as you can see here, these are quite expensive, boys and girls, with the Swan's down on it. Let's view all and try to find some old pieces. No, I don't want to add you, Google. Go beat it, I tell you. $195 with Bakelite with rhinestones in it. And usually the swan's down is long gone. They just disintegrate. And no, what the hell? I didn't ask them for the... Look at this. They want me to buy a poupette? Woman's Nava poncho? No, I'm not doing that. All right, so I found good old Napoleon. And I can't afford to add this one to my collection. Unfortunately, I would love nothing more but to have it in my collection. But... the dogs are running my video again. Sorry about that. Yeah, look at that. It even has a mirror. And that one is actually, the mirror is actually in good shape, but I can't afford it. Boo-hoo for me, right? Yeah, poor me. I'm such a victim, aren't I? All right, so I found Lady Cavendish. And sadly, I can't afford her either. And boo-hoo, I'm such a victim, aren't I? And yep. All right, quite beautiful. And too bad I can't add it to my collection. Let's look at more that I'm missing out on. Now here's another one I spy with my little eye on eBay. Don't know who this character was. Probably one of the French royal people. The French royalty. Again, with a beautiful mirror inside. And yeah, can't afford to add this one to my freaking collection. Oh, I hate looking at this. Tell me in the comments below. Do you hate window browsing? I hate window browsing. Like people that go, what is it called? Window shopping? Window shopping. I hate window shopping because 9 times out of the 10, I can't afford to buy whatever's in the damn window. Ugh, this sucks. Well. Look what we have here. Very familiar, huh? Okay, $280.40. And I feel so good right now because I'm window shopping and I already got this. And I was so lucky to get this for just like under 25 bucks. And thank God the person didn't know what she had because I can't afford $280.40, boys and girls. And look, I spy with my little eye another one that's mine. Well, it looks like mine, $300.50. And so I feel vindicated because I really got a good score. Now, it looks like Marie Antoinette is actually most sought after. I'd say Napoleon comes in a tie with her, or maybe second place. But this is just quite beautiful. And I'm so glad I was able to add this one to my collection. I guess I'm not going to be shopping on a website called One Kings Down because $477 and it's on sale, down 40% off from $795. 18th century, which this is totally wrong, by the way. This seller needs to do their research like I do to find out the date. They think this is 1700s. 2 days New York to delivery. I'm not paying $477. Oh, look who we have here, boys and girls. And yep. I guess I'm not going to be buying this one. That's for damn sure. Oh, let's look. Does it have a mirror? Yep, the mirror is still intact in there. But yep, I guess we're not buying this one. So what is the value of the piece on the right? Price, very subjective, boys and girls, and I will tell you why. Because one website will sell this for $477, and they'll actually sell it eventually. Somebody will come along, and I can guarantee probably someone from Beverly Hills, California, who don't price match, don't window shop and don't give a shit, and just has the money to burn, will actually pay the $4.77 for Marie Antoinette over here in her rouge pot. And what would you say about that? Yeah, you could probably get it cheaper from going around the internet to find it for cheaper, because I find these selling for as low as 95 doll hairs on eBay for the same ones. But then again, if you list it on the right site, like One Kings Lane in New York, New York, you can get $4.77 for it. A beautiful feather puff. Again, price is subjective. I was able to get this for $22 with free shipping. Other people are selling it. One person on Etsy was selling it for $112. Another person was selling it for $80. Another person was selling it for $150. Very similar ones to these. 22 doll hairs. So price is very subjective, boys and girls. So since this powder puff made out of swan's down and fabric and celluloid is not going to fit into the jar, very sad, I'm going to actually display them together. Why not? They make a beautiful couple, don't they? Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Now, women did not like to wear, well, they wanted to wear face powder and makeup and cosmetics in the Victorian era. It was really frowned upon. You were considered a very cheap woman to do such a thing. And believe it or not, men could actually marry you and divorce you. It was grounds for divorce if you would actually be found out to have been wearing face paint during the courtship, and once the man married you, he could divorce you and say, not as described. It's true, there was such cases that a man saw his wife on their wedding night, and after she woke up in the morning with no face powder on, and was very disgruntled, as they might add. And so they felt like they were taken to the cleaners, if you know what I mean, and fooled. So once again, thank you for watching. We'll do an unboxing pretty soon. We're going to find some more antique, Victorian, and early 20th century ladies' accessories or toiletries, and we're going to do unboxings.